What's up, guys? Welcome back to After the Credits, the review show that no one asked for. Today we are talking about Hogwarts Legacy, and I've got quite the legacy with this game. I actually bought it on release day on Steam, and since the game released, I have started it 4 separate times, and every single time I quit within an hour. So, don't know what was going on there, but that happened, and then I bought a PS5, if you have been able to catch on to that from the series so far. And one of the first purchases I made on my PS5 was the physical copy of Hogwarts Legacy, because I knew eventually I would want to get stuck in to Hogwarts, and this was a physical reminder of that fact. So finally, we got into it, we got stuck in, and we beat the game. So can't wait to talk to you guys about it. It should be a fun one. So let's roll the intro and get into the video. So in the story of Hogwarts Legacy, you control a new student that is attending Hogwarts as a 5th year. I don't know what year graduates out of Hogwarts. I don't know the lore that well, but everybody's surprised that you're joining as a 5th year, and that's the character that you control. You essentially get to create your own character. You can be a witch or a wizard, however you want to do all that. You get a nice creation station for this. Not the most detailed creator of all time, but it is serviceable for what the game is trying to achieve. But the whole gimmick of the game basically is that your character is able to see traces of an ancient magic that were once long thought to be gone from the wizard world, but you're able to see these traces of ancient magic, and with this ability, you are able to talk to the Keepers, which are basically 4 Hogwarts founders that have set up these trials that you need to go through to prove that you're worthy to be able to wield the ancient magic to unlock all of its secrets. So they've designed these trials in place, so if you fail the trials at any point, they can shut you out of learning more to kind of lock you out, because it's a very dangerous magic if held in the wrong hands. So that's the one part of the story. The second part of the story is that the goblin race is really taking action against wizard kind because they feel slighted by wizards. I think this is a long-running theme in Harry Potter. Again, I watched the movies, but I was 12 or so. Like, I've watched them all, but it's been 15 years now, so I don't know. But the goblins are basically trying to acquire these repositories of ancient magic so that their main leader, Ranrock, can absorb that magic and become the big bad major villain to wipe out wizard kind, to then become the rulers of the area as the goblins. So you're learning these ancient magic spells and stuff like that, and doing these trials for the Keepers, while also trying to stop the goblin race from getting to these ancient magic repositories. That's kind of the counterbalance of the story throughout the entire playthrough. That being said, I think the main story is actually phenomenal in this game. I think it's absolutely a great video game story all the way through, from front to back. As far as the main quest goes, there's a lot of nice twists and turns. It is a little predictable, but that's, I guess, not super unexpected. But I think the main quest line is very engaging and very well worth your time. Now, I also want to shout out the sound design in this game. It's absolutely incredible. Obviously, there's a lot of whimsical tracks in here that really fit the theme very, very well. The spell casting has got a very satisfying, like, whip crack sound when you're shooting basic spells, and then obviously in Harry Potter you have spells that you have to say out loud to cast certain things. All that's done very, very well, and it all flows very seamlessly, so the sound design is incredible. Right in line with the sound design, the voice acting is also great. There was never really a character that I ran into in the game that was voiced poorly, and there's a lot of characters in this game, so typically when you have this many people that you can talk to, you would expect there to be a couple like funny stinker ass voice actors in there, but this game was voice acted phenomenally well, so really, really cool that they were able to do that. mean, it's a big budget game, you kind of expect it, but still something worth noting that there was no really bad voice acting throughout the experience. Alright guys, so this is definitely going to be one of my most controversial videos that I release, most likely. Because as far as positives go, that's probably about where the positives are going to stop for this video. So hopefully it's not going to be as controversial as the Wukong video that I released, but it might be. And you know what? That's okay. I keep it real with y'all, and I'm going to continue to do that. So ultimately, all things said and done, there's a lot more negatives that I have with Hogwarts Legacy than positives. So just dive into those. First and foremost, maybe the biggest problem that I had with this game as a whole is that, as I mentioned before, main quest is fantastic. But there are millions upon millions of side quests, it feels like, in this game, and they just destroy the pacing of that main quest. So how it essentially works is the game is kind of broken up into seasons, like the weather seasons, essentially. So you start in like the spring, and that's kind of the first phase of the main quest line. So you have a checklist to do of things to progress the main story, and these are indicated by gold markers on your map. Now, hypothetically, you could just go main quest to main quest to main quest to main quest and progress the game forward that way, but this is an RPG, so you're not going to be leveled properly if you do that. So how it basically works is that you'll do one main quest, right? You'll do one main quest, and as soon as you complete that main quest, which is like one check mark out of the 5 or 6 different objectives you have to do to progress the story forward to go into the next season, but one quest, one main quest, and then you're bombarded with side quests just out the ass hole. And I mean, it is like bizarre, because there were so many times in the game I was like, damn, I just want to go back to the main quest, but like this side quest going on, this side quest going on, I got this side quest going on, oh, I traveled to this location, so now there's a side quest I gotta do in this location, and then while I'm here in the town, there's a billion collectibles in this game. Like, there's Demiguise moons, there's Merlin trials, there's field pages, there's chests that you gotta get in each location, there's a bunch of different things that are out, there's beasts you gotta collect, there's just a lot of shit in the game that you have to do. So you're just constantly pulled away from the really good story that the game has and kind of sent off on these weird paths with side quests. Now, I will be honest, there's a few really good side quests in this game that actually follow the main quest progression. So they're like full game long side quests, and those quests are phenomenal. They are absolutely incredible. You don't often see like side quests being that substantial, but yeah, there's like 3 main side quests in this game that I think are absolutely worth doing. The one with Sebastian Swallow, the Slytherin guy. There's a side quest with Natai from Gryffindor, and then there's a side quest with Poppy, who's a Ravenclaw, but she, or maybe she's a Hufflepuff. Doesn't really matter, all things considered. But Poppy kind of has a really fun beast quest line that is really fun to do. Sebastian's is like a little drama side quest, like a little family drama stuff that's really a really good side quest. Natai's side quest is basically taking on some of the human villains in the game, and then Poppy's got the beast side quest, and those are all game long side quests. They're fantastic. It's the other side quests that are not fantastic. They're all fetch quests, or, you know, go here to do one thing and go back, or go to this location, fight this enemy, and come back. You know, just the same standard stuff that is clearly in the game to add game time, which I fucking hate. I can't stand that shit. That's why I can't finish any modern Assassin's Creed game, because there's just side content in the game that is there to pad game length. But at the same time, you kind of have to do them because you need levels to be able to actually be in contention, I suppose, to do the main quest. So anyways, just don't like that structure, and I would say 80% of the side quests in this game were completely useless and complete wastes of my time, in my opinion. Now, I will say, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter nerd in the world, as I mentioned previously. I watched the movies back in the day. I probably read the first couple books, but I don't know all the lore and stuff, and if you're really into this franchise, you might get a lot more out of these little side quests. Maybe there's characters in here that are relatives of some side characters in the books or something that you can get a kick out of, but for me, just wasn't anything there. And you know, it's just, there were so many times in the game where I wanted to get back to the main quest and I would literally get derailed from the main quest for 3 hours, 4 hours, and like I was streaming and the whole stream would go by and I would do like 3 hours of side activities and I would not even do one main quest in that entire stream, which obviously is a playstyle issue for me. You don't have to absolutely do everything, but I don't know, I see pop-ups, I gotta clear them off the screen. It's a personal problem, but it's worth mentioning. And this has been a long segment about side quests, but I fucking hated a lot of them. Alright, so let's move on from that tirade into another tirade, and let's dive into the combat. Now, in all fairness, I don't know what I expected. Harry Potter is a world full of a bunch of spells and you use a wand, so to be able to get a combat style in this game, they kind of had to do it the way that they did it. But regardless of the fact, it feels very cluttered, it feels very clunky, and just ultimately doesn't feel all that good in my opinion. So essentially how it works, you hold the right trigger and that pulls up you can tap the right trigger to perform a basic cast. And then if you hold the right trigger, it'll pull up your spells, and you have a spell assigned to each one of your buttons on your controller. As you progress through the game and level up, you can unlock additional skill pages, essentially. So by end game, you probably have 4 different skill pages of 4 different abilities. And how this essentially works is when you are in combat, if you want to change your skill set, you have to hold the trigger, which is what you're doing, to cast the abilities, and then hit the D-pad in one of the 4 directions to pull up a new page. So you're constantly flipping pages and flipping spells around to avoid cooldowns, and it just really doesn't feel good in my opinion, because you're lifting your left thumb off of your thumbstick in order to flip these skill pages, and it just really complicates things in my opinion. And again, I don't know what could have been done to prevent this. It's just kind of a nature of the game itself, and I just don't know how they could have avoided it. But in practice, it is overly complex in my opinion and doesn't feel all that good to use. Now we'll touch on performance. Performance for the most part is pretty good, but there are a lot of times in this game for me, and I played, like I said, just finished it the day this video is coming out, and I had a lot of frame drops, especially in the main Hogwarts building. Usually kind of coming into different locations after the load screen happens at the doorways, you're going to get some frame jittering until it kind of figures itself out. But on multiple different occasions, I had to actually restart my game because I don't know if there was like a memory leak type of thing happening, but anywhere that I was going, I was like getting half the FPS that I felt like I was getting through the majority of the playthrough, and then a quick game restart would fix it. Happened like quite a few times, unfortunately for me, and that might just be bad luck, but definitely happened, and definitely something worth noting. Yet another thing that is kind of an irritating thing, you do get a lot of dialogue options in the game. However, the dialogue options don't matter. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form. I think there was quite a few times, like, I played through this game as kind of like a positive player. I wasn't going for like the bad guy, I was going for the good guy. And I would give like a good guy response, and it was just like a generic response that would have worked for either dialogue option, and that happened a shit ton of time, probably every time. Like I felt like there may have been like one additional line of dialogue depending on what choice you made, but then after that initial dialogue, it would just go into what it would say for everything, no matter what dialogue option that you chose. Again, this is nitpicky. This is a big ass game with a lot of voiced lines, a lot of moving pieces and parts, so trying to expect the game to be fluent is probably not the correct way to approach it, but it just feels a little weird when you give a positive response and get like a very flat, neutral answer coming out the other side of it. Just felt a little strange. And then again, touching on a previous point, too many collectibles, dude. I initially started the game thinking I was going to go for the platinum. Shout out to Bushido Cypher and I Am Rob and those guys that have all posted platinum videos for this game, and we're all extremely positive on the platinum. Listen, I think that was what inspired me to actually jump in and play the game again, were those videos, because I thought that it looked really, really fun. I just couldn't do it, man. I probably did about everything that I could do up until the last like 2 main quest tasks, like 2 seasons, I guess, but I just couldn't do it anymore. There's just so many of them, and of course I could go through the game with a guide open and collect all the stuff and get the platinum, and maybe in time I will go back and finish it, because I did do a lot of it, so it would be probably another, I don't know, 10 hours of gameplay to finish all of the stuff. But yeah, I ended up stopping that halfway through because I was just like, brother, I am getting way too lost in the sauce, and I just want to get back to that main quest. So yeah, too many collectibles, way too many collectibles. I mean, having collectibles is cool and all and fun and great, and I usually enjoy them, but for fuck's sake, brother, there is way too many in this game. All right, now let's talk about the broom mechanics, because I think the broom mechanics were done in a very strange way as well here, which is mind-boggling to me. So you do get your broom after probably about 10 hours or so, and I don't know why they designed the broom to control this way, but your left thumbstick controls your left and right, basically pivoting. So it controls turning left and right. And then down and up on the left stick control your camera for down and up. And then the right stick controls your elevation, so it'll raise your broom and lower your broom. And then if you move the right stick left and right, it will pan your camera left and right. So you've got like 2 things going at the same time. I don't know why they couldn't just like have the broom control with the left thumbstick and the camera with the right thumbstick, and then you just hold a button like a trigger to go forward. That seems like a pretty easy thing to do, but apparently not. So the broom controls are weird, and they take some getting used to. And I just think it was overly complicated for such a simple thing. I don't know. I don't design video games, but I know I played Harry Potter Quidditch Cup on the GameCube, and I didn't have any problem with the broom flight controls in that game. So I don't know what happened here to make it such a complex thing. All right, so with all that being said, it leaves me in a very weird position on my thoughts on the game, because in one hand, really enjoyed the main story, had a lot of fun going through those main quests and those really long, detailed, gripping side quests that the game had. But on the other hand, wasn't a fan of the controls, wasn't a fan of the bloat in the game, Wasn't a fan of the combat. Didn't really like the broom controls. Was incredibly bored for a large majority of the game based on the playstyle that I was playing through at the time. So it's a weird one for me, man. It's a really, really weird one for me, and it puts me in a position where I would personally not recommend Hogwarts Legacy. I just didn't get a really fantastic experience out of it. The only way I would really recommend it is if you love Harry Potter, you love Hogwarts, you've always wanted an open world Hogwarts game. This is going to fit all those needs very, very well. But from someone that's got like a passing interest in Harry Potter, if that, I don't know, man. It's a hard one to stick through. And maybe it wouldn't be if you just ignore the side stuff. But, you know, if you're going into the game, you want to get all the side content done, you're looking around 50 hours or so. My completed game save was 35 hours, around there. It's a lot of video game, but again, you could probably shorten that down to like 30 hours if you did less of the collectathon stuff in the game. And I think you get a better experience out of it that way, personally, but some people like those weird side quests, so I don't know. Personally, for me, it's not a game I would recommend. Just too many things on the negative side, in my opinion, to really boost the rating up. So I think I would probably slot it in like a C tier on a S to D, F tier scale. I'd probably say it's a C tier game, very middling, and a lot of that is being brought up by the story and the side quests. I mean, without those, I mean, if the main story wasn't so good, yeah, we'd be looking further down the list, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna put it. Let me know your comments down below. Let me know that I'm just a old boomer that doesn't know how to fucking use controls properly, and the game's not that bad, and I just made it harder than I needed to, and all that fun stuff in the comments down below. But this has been another episode of After the Credits. I appreciate you guys watching and listening to my stupid ass takes. It's been a fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course, consider liking and subscribing for the next After the Credits video. Don't know what it's going to be. Never do. If you watch this channel, you know I don't ever have a plan, but it'll be something fun, either on the PS3 or the PS5. So tune in for that. Love you all. Take care of yourselves and have a great rest of whatever. Have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever it is for you. See you guys later.